I have a lot to tell you, but I don't know whether I will be able to explain everything because it's to do with the spiritual things. So the more you are away from, the more you get distant from the way that things are on the earth, the more misunderstood you become, because the way that people register what you're saying might be just according to how they understand it, which could be very earthly and not what I mean. Even the word love in the earthly terms, it's about love of a partner, it's about emotion, intimacy, closeness, but love is also can be perceived in a different way energetically, and it's about union, harmony, peace, health, well-being, inner joy, inner contentment. All of this is also love. And the needy love of the earth is not love. It's just the ego play of joy and pain, of pain and pleasure. So I'm getting the taste, the whiff of the other side, although definitely I'm not there, because when people transition to the other side, they speak from another side and they are mostly misunderstood. Jesus was crucified because he was misunderstood totally, because he was speaking from the other side. His earthly body was on the earth, but he was speaking from heaven. And when you're dissolving the earthly personality, you will stop registering things of the earth. You might not understand some things that are told, and you will not register some of the intentions because you don't have them, so you can't register them anymore. And today I had the experience, a very good experience in the shop. I went shopping a little bit to the other town on my e-bike, and the lady that was serving me, she was just not nice. I didn't do anything to her, but she was so rude. But then I was always responding in a very nice way, never reacting. And then when I was going back, I got on my bike and I was processing what happened, and I realized that what's reacting to me by feeling hurt is that which needs to dissolve, because the spirit cannot be hurt. The spirit is love, strength, happiness. So the persona that gets hurt is a persona, it's a mask, it's a false garb that we wear, thinking it's us. So I was happy that I didn't react, because that's how this persona is dissolved. When it feels hurt, when it feels pain, and you don't retaliate. But what happens is that most people, they retaliate very fast. So anything, even a slight hurt, they are threatened. Even if some concept they stand for is threatened because someone disagrees, they are quick to protect it. But that's how you rebuild the false persona and you stay on the earth. This is what attaches you to the earth. So I was reflecting on that, and I was happy not to react, because the pain of the persona is the win, the gain of the spirit. And I was starting to go back home, and then I realized I forgot to buy another thing. And there are two shops. The shop was today, that lady that was not nice, and another shop just a few steps away. But I chose to go back to the same lady so that my false persona burns a little bit more. So that's the spiritual work, you see. The ego enjoys new age spiritual work because it's not really spiritual. It's the ego dabbling in things and enjoying it. But the real work is like this. It can be painful. It's burning. But it's burning that which is false in you. So basically, like when the alchemists were seeking for philosopher's stone, the dross of the metal is burned to reveal gold, to reveal the stone of immortality. So that's the earthly way of describing what's happening to you. You can only burn that which is false in you. So I went back, and again, yes, she was still nasty. But I was responding with love. I was responding with love, with caring for her, because that's what I am. I don't want to respond through a persona that retaliates. It's a false persona. So when she would give me nastiness, I would give her love. And actually, she started a little bit shifting at the end. So that's interesting. But it doesn't matter what the other person does. But you need to respond with love if you want to burn that false persona. So, and at the end, I didn't feel pain anymore. The way that she was responding to me, I didn't feel any pain. I just felt love. So how quickly this medicine works, how quickly this false persona can be undone if you are not afraid of this pain. And so it can be rude people disagreeing with you. What are you trying to protect is not you. It's that false persona. Or it could be story that you built around yourself that you're trying to protect. But again, it's not you. So so let it burn. It's actually good for you. You feel light and you are more aligning with the kingdom of God. So these days, like always, I do daily lessons of A Course in Miracles. I read A Course in Miracles, and then I listen to the lives of Tone from Life is But a Dream channel. He is the only living person that I know who has fully transitioned and is speaking from the other side. The same I get from the writings of Nisargadatta Maharaj. I think Ramana Maharishi was on the other side also, although I read only, I think, one book from him a long time ago. But Nisargadatta Maharaj was speaking from the other side. Yogananda was actually not on the other side. He was attracted to the other side, but he was still of the earth. Eckhart Tolle, I think he's still actually not on the other side, but I'm not sure, because only people who are on the other side would tell for sure. But the way that he speaks, he mentions the earth a lot, the earthly things. But when you are on another side, your speech totally changes. And it's so interesting. I was discussing tone with my client, and my client asked about to see the channel of Tone. So when my client saw how he looked like with tattoos and sunglasses and a cap, my client didn't want to check further into his message. But it's very important to understand that it doesn't matter at all how the person looks. It doesn't matter at all. The person can look like not spiritual at all, but you know them from the way that they speak, from their energy, from what they speak about, because every single time he turns on the camera is just the keys to freedom. He cannot speak about anything else. And people who are still operating totally or mainly through ego consciousness, and consciousness is totally from the ego anyway, so through ego they go by the appearance, and that's why millions of people are deceived by gurus wearing robes, but they are obsessed about cars and women. They are totally of this earth, and those people who are truly from the other side, most people are not interested in what they have to say because of how they look or how they live, that they are not maybe very rich or something. But any wealth of this earth is nothing to the wealth on the other side, like Tone explains. Like I was listening to his live, and he was asked by maybe his friend or something, do you go to the mall? And he's like, man, I'm traveling through portals and they're asking whether I'm going to the mall. I don't even know what mall is. So the wealth on the other side. You cannot compare to anything of this. So it doesn't matter how you live here. You can just tune out. It's a dream once you're free. And stay where you are, where all the wealth is. This is your creation, and even your creation without God still has those wealth aspects, though they don't last. But what about creations with God? That's where abundance comes from. So it cannot even be compared. And why would you seek for wealth in this earth, on this earth, when you are enjoying there the wealth that can never be compared to what can be achieved on this earth? It's a dream. It doesn't matter how you are, what your body shape is, where you live. It's a dream. And to go back to our heavenly self, which is the higher self, which is us, we need to die to this world, to the concepts of this world. And you die to it by no longer being responsive to it, involved in it, interested in it, reactive to it. You're just kind of dying to this world to wake up to who you really are. And as Tone explains, we are kind of dead because we say our higher selves as though it's a separate thing. But it's actually us, but we are so much into falseness, we are so asleep, we kind of perceive our true selves as a separate being. And the way back to our true selves is not to learn about it or talk about it, but to do the work of dissolving false persona. The higher self, which is true us, is total love. Anything that's not of total love has to burn away from us. This is the dross that needs to leave us so that we are not weighed by it and attached to the earth by anything that's not of us. Anything that's not of us will keep us on this earth, even one or two things. So everything has to go, because everything is false here. Everything is not of God here. Therefore, we have to let go of everything. All the reactions, irritation, anger, jealousy, this is not of us, and it has to go. So to go back to the kingdom, it's not by learning about it or talking about it or acting like we are there, but by doing the work of burning out, burning away that which is not of us. And today I experienced, and today was for me that burning, and I enjoyed it very much. The spirit enjoyed it, of not reacting when someone is offensive towards you. You are responding with your true nature, with love. You don't respond with a false persona, trying to rebuild it, trying to upkeep some kind of image that is false. And that's how you return. So it's not about adding anything, adding knowledge or whatever. It's about undoing that which is false in you, until what remains is just you. And the way that Tone explains is that once you go back to your true energy, you become the same as the energy of the whole universe, and therefore you can change anything in the universe. You can manifest because you are at one with everything. You're no longer separate. It's the ego that keeps us thinking we are separate. But because of this, we are powerless. We are separated from everything. But when we let go of the ego, which is the separation consciousness, by burning away these false attitudes, then we become one with the universe, and therefore we can control the universe, we can change the universe, we can manifest, we can do whatever we want because we are at one with it. So the persona that cares how other people perceive you, and when you take action to better the perception of others of you, this persona has to go, because when you take action, you're building that which is false, or you're maintaining that which is false. But if you just allow yourself to be how you really are without doing anything to make you perceived better by others. So that's how you're dissolving that which is afraid of how other people perceive it. So as you're taking these actions, you're becoming more and more aligned with who you really are. And then you are kind of building a bridge to the other side, and then God, through the Holy Spirit, Christ can help you. You start getting this understanding of what to do, what to dissolve, what to pay attention to. And you might get clearer communication in your dreams, because Tone explains that God always tries to speak to you in dreams, but if your consciousness is very dense, you will interpret it in a way that it will be lost in translation. But the more cleaning you do of dissolving false persona, the more you understand the true messages. So you are helped all the time. But if the persona is very dense, you will just not perceive the help. So Nisargadatta Maharaj and Tone, their sayings are identical in a way that they are kind of always throwing keys of freedom. So anything the person would ask them, they would answer in a way that would somehow be helpful to leave this matrix. So some people will resonate more with the writings of Nisargadatta Maharaj, some with Tone. Some people don't understand the writings of Nisargadatta Maharaj. Some people don't understand what Tone is talking about. You need to find which makes sense to you more, or just continue listening until it gets through to you. Because most spiritual teachers, they are still of the earth, and they cannot detach from the fact that they are not the bodies. They still think through the body. They perceive everything through the bodies. They think that other bodies are real. And so they kind of put on spirituality, but they are not speaking from the other side. It's just like an act, but they might not even know it. And that's why I'm telling that. And some have very good intentions. They really think that they are very spiritual, but very few actually make it to the other side. Because body identification is so strong, what people perceive spirituality to be is that, oh, I will become spiritual, and then I will become like a spiritual guru, and other bodies will be my followers, and maybe there will be wealth and so forth. So still everything is measured in earthly conditions, like earthly betterment, but real spirituality is living this dream. So as long as any soul is asleep, the dream will continue, and we will be sent from the other side to help out. But this will no longer be your true dwelling place. You will understand it's a dream, and you will dwell in the kingdom of God. So awakening is not about gaining anything in this world, but about escaping it. And for many people, spirituality equals just having it easier or having joyful existence in this world. But this world is not real. It's the dream. Maybe it's this world's spiritual version is a better world, but the true spirituality is actually leaving this world, and then sometimes tuning in from the other side to help others through your avatar, through your body, through the body that you have in this lifetime, this machine. And I should also share this with you that if you were following me long time before, I had how to say, the glimpse of the other side at the age of 30, when I had the crown chakra opening, but I was doing it like a thief. So it wasn't about undoing the mechanisms of the false self, of getting irritated, of, getting upset about worldly things, but it was about hacking into the other side through manipulating body through yoga and clearing the pathway so that you perceive. But the old self was not undone. So it was actually very dangerous to do and traumatic, because the old self remains. So you perceive everything through the ego because it's not undone through doing yoga. It still remains because you're not dissolving the personality that gets irritated, that gets unhappy, that reacts to others' nastiness and so forth. So you are perceiving, you're opening up to the other side through this old persona, and it can actually make you crazy. You can go mad. Thankfully I didn't, but I got a glimpse of what it is like. There is so much help on the other side. They always communicate with us, trying to show you how to get out. But if you are not changing the earthly personality, dissolving it, you will interpret it in a very fearful manner. You will just not be prepared. So now I'm doing it the right way, through the dissolution of that which is not of God, so that I align more and more with the kingdom. And in A Course in Miracles, it is told that you cannot just be face to face with God without doing the preparation work, because you will interpret it as traumatic rather than a joyful experience. But if you do the preparation work of forgiveness, dissolving the false self, at least to some extent, then you will be able to interpret the union with God, the God welcoming you back in the right way, that it's an experience of awe rather than of trauma. So this is the real work, dissolving that which perceives danger, which perceives threat. This is the persona from which comes like, oh, this will be dangerous if I don't do this. But this persona has to be dissolved. That's what perceives danger, this persona. So this false self has to go, so that you go back to who you are. Now you perceive the higher self as separate, but it has to be you. So there's a lot of work to go back to the home you left through burning of the false persona. This is not a pleasant work, but actually the more you do it, for me, it feels pleasant. But it's the spirit that is happy when you do these things. But for ego, it's hell. When you don't respond, when you don't rebuild your hurt self-esteem, when you attack back, it wants to attack back. But you're just being nice self. Whatever happens, you're just nice. You're giving, you're helpful, you're loving. Whatever happens, do this. And if now you get upset about it or hurt or like threatened in hearing it, know that it's that false self and not you that feels like this. So this is the one that needs to go, so that you go back to who you are. This is the real work, not reading millions of self-improvement books and adding on to the false persona more stuff, but actually undoing that which is false, so that what is there, pure love, is revealed. And then you don't need to search for heaven. Heaven will find you, because you will become of it like you actually are. So no need to search for enlightenment, illumination. You just need to undo that which makes you unable to see that, which covers it.